We're back. We're back. And not only are we back, but we're back like you've never seen before. I know that technically Marvel MC is still considered a small community server, but even then, I underestimate just how popular it is. I mean, we've had players stumble upon their friends at school watching one of our trailers, with no talk of the server beforehand. Just by pure coincidence, their friends were discovering the server just as they had, and they got to witness it. When I first heard that, I had thought, unbelievable. But even more so, we've had players who would come on regularly that go to the same school, and for a while they had no idea until one of them were like, wait, I think that guy goes to my school. It just speaks volumes about how widespread we are, and I just love that it's gone so far that players are crossing paths with people they know away from the screen. Not everyone can say that. Not all server owners can say that. And then, not only do they learn about it and play it, but then they love it and they spend so much time on it, having so much fun, that it leads to so much more than that. The server becomes a part of their life. They meet the people that they get to talk about the latest comics with, or the release of the newest film trailer. And sometimes those people go on to become life friends. There's just so much passion that grows in who you come to know that it goes beyond coming on as Spider-Man and getting to meet Captain America. We've had birthday parties, homecomings, etc., and you're definitely not going to believe this one, but we've had boyfriend and girlfriend turn into fiancés in real time while they were on the server. You heard that exactly right. One time in particular, while someone was logged on to Marvel MC during their birthday, their boyfriend proposed to them. And because of that, I'm able to say that they were on Marvel MC while it happened. Take that, Hypixel Studios. However, I never thought that we would become so popular that some idiot would have the audacity to leak one of our trailers. You're kidding me, right? Seriously? Clearly, whoever did this doesn't understand the significance of publicity and why proper release of our content is important for those that are behind it, as much is taken away from them when it isn't put out into the world in the way that it was planned to be. But what's done is done and can't be undone. So since it's out and some of you have all seen it, we might as well talk about it, as well as a few other things that Marvel MC has in store. So consider this the official breakdown of what's next for Marvel MC. As you can tell from the trailer, it has a multiversal Spider-Man theme to it. In the first clip, it's Wolverine facing off against Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, with Deadpool standing in between them. My inspiration for this was the Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate face-off that we got a couple years back, but with a bit of a twist. It starts out with just Deadpool and Wolverine, so you think it's really about them taking after their movie. But then, Spidey comes in from the side, and then Deadpool faces the camera, now standing between them. Next, you have a view from above of Wilson Fisk giving a speech, presumably now as mayor of New York. And as we zoom out further, we learn the reason for the high view is that we're watching with Spider-Man sitting on a ledge. Not the same one, though, and you might not be able to spot out the variant until this trailer is out, but surprise, surprise, Matt Murdock, attorney at law, is undoubtedly in attendance as well. Last, but certainly not least, we see the Miles Morales Spider-Man standing on a ledge as well, until a sling ring portal opens up behind him, where you can see Doctor Strange levitating in the sanctum, and Miles starts to approach him, until a certain someone stands in his way. Whoever they are, they're certainly not Spider-Man, despite what they're wearing. I'll let you all wait until this trailer is officially released to find out who. All of which ends with a title screen. Exciting stuff. As I mentioned when that random person stopped me in the streets not that long ago, this trailer has been ready to go for a while, since October 27, 2024 to be exact. So we're going on 8 months, not since its inception, but since its completion. Come to think of it, I can actually understand why it got leaked. I'd leak something if I had to wait that long for it too. It was the perfect way to get me on here to inform you all about the status of Marvel MC, as well as get you all here watching. I'm sure it also allows you talking about it. So whoever did that, GG's. Marvel MC is probably going to sue you, but GG. As those of you who have been around for a while know, I've been working on an all-new infrastructure for Marvel MC, something that hasn't been done before for a server like this, something meant to make it more intuitive so that it can have the potential to enter the big leagues without having anything holding it back. And there unfortunately have been setbacks. I remember talking about the original developer that was hired and how they eventually abandoned the project while we were still sorting bugs out, major bugs, before its completion, despite being paid in full. Well, I had to eventually report that person to Minecraft Market, and they were removed from the platform for a gross violation of their rules. And I eventually got a new developer, and we made tremendous progress in little time, might I add, to the point where the plugin is close to being completely finished. We're still working on a few minor things out, but it's nothing compared to what the issue was previously, where we had complications that were crippling the entire thing. Only other thing is that I've prepared updates and all new features to go onto that plugin since then. It took me a few years to come up with this idea for Marvel MC, and then a few years later, while it was being brought to life, more ideas came to me that would revolutionize things even more. So even once it's complete, it's going to stay in development so that those ideas can be implemented. Granted, the server will still go public as soon as it's ready, except for another brief whitelist-only testing phase, but that won't be the end of making it the best thing that it can possibly be. So now that you have all of that background information, what's the plan? When can we get you guys back on the server? Who's going to be able to join the server as soon as today? What are the next steps? Well, here it is. I'm sure you all noticed the very obvious QR code on the trailer that was leaked, which I get to acknowledge. Well, have you scanned it yet? That will take you to Marvel MC's Patreon. You can join it now for free. And of course, as with any Patreon, there are different tiers that you can pay monthly for if you wish to, and are able to do so. But first, let's get into what the Patreon is for, and what to expect out of it. Evidently, one thing a lot of Marvel MC supporters aren't a fan of is the radio silence, and trust me, I'm not a fan of it either. I've talked about this in my 10-year YouTube anniversary video, that all it really is that I don't want to come on and talk about the server unless I have plays to make that actually mean something. Because in my opinion, I can make 10 videos just talking about the server and how things are looking. But if after each of those videos you guys still don't know when the server's coming back, what's the point? The Patreon is where you'll find consistent updates, regardless of significance, just so that I'm keeping you all in the loop. You can either join as a free spectator, or if you want to contribute something very small, like $5 a month, then we have our Patriot tier. Now, we can get into the premium tiers and the benefits that come with them. In the description, there will be an application form to go ahead and submit early for the whitelist. So the day that we start opening it up for more players to come on again, we'll start going through those and accepting them. Which means when you come on, the first thing you do might not necessarily be signing up for a character. Instead, you may find out you've already been accepted and all that's required is getting you set up. However, if you become a premium tier member, we will accept those applications early. You'll still have to wait until the server is at that part of the launch to join and play as whoever you're going for, but at least you'll have that character secured and won't have to worry about someone getting it before you do. Obviously, spots are limited, because if I was letting everyone on at once, then there'd be no need for a whitelist. So it may be a good idea to jump on that by going ahead and getting an application submitted, whether you become a premium patriot or not. And mind you, this form is free for everyone to enter. Becoming a premium member of the Patreon just means it'll get reviewed sooner. However, here's the catch. This time around, part of the application is a Marvel MC quiz. Questions about the server. As a player, you will have an especially huge advantage if you've played the server before, because it means you'll know some of the answers already. Questions like, what's the name of the device that can hold Infinity Stones? What event did Spider-Man die in, etc. In order to have a chance at getting accepted, you have to score high enough. Let's say 70% for now. It is subject to change, so keep an eye out. It might be lower later, who knows. And if you get a perfect score, you will automatically get the Premium Plus tier, 1 month free. But before you all rush to the description and attempt to ace the quiz, I have a side note and a suggestion to make. Then I'm going to get into what the Premium Plus tier offers. Let's start with the side note. Don't be so hard on yourself if you don't know the answers, because I absolutely do not care how you get those answers. In fact, I want you to cheat if that's what you have to do. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you how to do just that. Because sure, you might know some of them and have to guess the rest, but you shouldn't have to guess. Because here's the thing, a decent amount of these questions have to do with the server's lore. And our lore started back in 2018, when we had our first original story-based event. We had different players in 2018 from 2019, and so on and so forth. Over time, a server goes through generations, so to speak, of players. So I wouldn't expect a player who began their Marvel MC journey in 2022 to know about something that happened in 2020. Plus, some of you watching this video are fresh faces seeking their first ever Marvel MC experience, which is why I'm going to give you a cheat sheet. And that brings me to my suggestion. There is a video coming out not too long from now recapping the entire history of Marvel MC events, which will give you a lot of answers to this quiz. In fact, I'm going to give you one of the answers right now. There's a question that asks, who won the Gauntlet Games on June 1st, 2020? The answer is Adam Warlock. Some of you know this because you were there. Some of you know this because you weren't there, but were watching a Discord stream of it. Some of you know because you watched the Game of Stones recap video. That's exactly what's going to happen very soon. If you wait until the video comes out, you're guaranteed to get more answers correct. However, if you do, you're also giving people a chance to get their applications in first, which could affect whether or not you get the character you were hoping for, or if there are enough spots available by the time we get to yours. So there's also a risk that comes with waiting for the video. Just a few things to consider. Anywho, Premium Plus offers its members an experimental beta pass for applicants, meaning you can come on now while we're in development mode. I mean, the server's not incomplete, broken, or anything like that. It's very much fully functional. It's just the big update we're working on that's still getting there. You can still become a character, explore, complete quests and all. It's just that the main focus would be getting the show on the road. So, if anyone decides to become a Premium Plus member, I hope that you'd be open to being a bit useful to developers. Like, if they need to test a few commands on you or anything like that, or if they give you a weapon to try out. Before I get into the last tier and give a few disclaimers, I want to say that if you were a member of the Premium 2022 beta from a couple years ago, I don't want your money. You guys have already paid a price to support the server, and you shouldn't have to pay a price again. So all I have to say to you now is, welcome back. Those premium slots also came with the character reservation that a lot of you still haven't used. So you select few actually also get first pick on the characters. Last tier for now is Premium X, which is basically kind of like what Patriot is, just for those who want to give a little extra, but they also get all the perks as well. The only new thing that comes with this tier is that they can be invited back into the Discord server before we make it public again. Now, here are some disclaimers. 1, no application is guaranteed acceptance, regardless of tier. Applications need information on them, okay? Sometimes when people apply, they make a significant error, and then the result of that is I still need an application that I can actually accept, you know? Like, if it's missing information, but you also became a Premium Plus member, then I can't properly add you to the whitelist until I see that you submitted an application that gives me all the information I need to evaluate. So to preface this, let's just say that not all applications are guaranteed acceptance, because I can't guarantee that every application I get is going to be one that I can accept. Officially, the only thing you're guaranteed is updates, some tiers more so than others. Number 2, status on the server is still subject to moderation. This is one of those stating the obvious disclaimers, and I never often had these kinds of problems with my players, but obviously if you manage to get in the server early, but then you violate our rules or show malicious intent while being there, then obviously we're not obligated to put up with that. And I don't think it will be an issue, and it's much less likely to be because it's not public mode, so there should actually be less going on that could even lead to scenarios like that. I mean, during 2022's beta, I had 0 issues. I don't think a player became a problem even once. In fact, we had a lot more fun. But in the event that something does come up, I do think it's important to highlight what can still happen. While you all have your options to either submit an application, wait until release, or become a Premium Plus member, in the meantime, the server will continue to be worked on until it's ready to gradually open to the public. There will also, of course, as mentioned, be more videos coming out on both this channel and my personal channel. Now, before I let you guys go, there is still one thing that I want to get out of the way. I am not for sale, I am not for hire, and I will not be poached or played with. I'm not here to sell Marvel MC, I'm not here to sell my services as an owner or give them away to whoever tries to sneakily get me on board. And if you have a serious inquiry, that's one thing, but if that's the case, I want serious inquiries only. 5 years ago, back when Marvel MC was open to the public, I chose to withdraw, and it was like waving a white flag. Continuing to run the server at that point in time would have shown increasingly more challenging, and I'm sorry that people who didn't want the server to go anywhere had to put up with that. There were a lot of external forces at play, making it a very coerced decision, but if I had decided that I wanted to stay and see the tough times through, it would have been my right. Just like it was my right when I did something experimental back in 2022. This time it's no different, as I maintain the same right to be here that everyone else has. If you were one of those who wanted the server gone and wanted me gone because I was a controversial server owner, or the outcome of Game of Stones upset a lot of people, or you were mad about an isolated incident, or you just didn't like or respect me, whether it be because we just didn't see eye to eye or share different beliefs, then I'm not going to ask you to reconsider. I'm going to ask you to stand by that. Stick to it. I need that to line up with your actions. I've been getting a lot of messages and friend requests from people on various platforms trying their absolute hardest to get my attention in a not so innocent way. To get an inside scoop on where Marvel MC is headed so they can get ahead of it, or trying to get me on board with their failed attempts to recreate it, either to increase their chances of success or discourage me from returning to Marvel MC, eliminating a threat, basically. Sometimes they're also just trolling to give me a hard time or trying to be my friend. And I'm sure once in a while, one of those messages that I get have good intentions. But the fact of the matter is that it's a contradiction. I made mistakes, I made calls that were not the same ones that I'd make today. Other times, I just wasn't on the same page with everyone, and there's nothing I can do to stop that from happening. But whatever the case may be, I was punished for it, to the point where it took this popular server away from people. And then when I apologized, I got punished again for apologizing. An apology I was begged for, practically. And then the people who were on the forefront of all that backlash were acting in personal interest, because me being gone would have helped with their endeavors more so than them feeling like I needed to be held accountable for something. And in other cases, it was just either anger or resentment from completely unrelated incidences, like me cutting ties with them on a personal level, banning them, or saying no to something. During that process, some of them would even find ways to add on more irrelevant quote-unquote offenses just to engineer more hate against me. Some of them saw my efforts while also seeing the inconsistencies on the other side, but gave me no credit and no backing because they'd rather see me pay, quote-unquote, for my mistakes than admit that they were just mistakes. And there was no excuse for me to be forced to lose what I have, what I built for years. Now imagine that those people who led the charge continue to stay in your face after you already surrendered. If I was such a problem that needed to go away, then why wasn't the problem solved when I did go away? If you're trying to be goody-goody with someone after you help them get exiled, then that means you didn't actually believe that they deserved to be exiled. That just means it was personal for you, and then you got over it. If you're trying to get them to join your team, then that means you didn't care for half of the offenses that were perpetuated against them with your help, because evidently you're comfortable working with them still. And let's say it's neither of those. Let's say for whatever reason, you'd simply like to see if you can still score an interaction with me, whether that be by trying to provoke me in the comment section of my videos, or sending either alts or old quote-unquote friends to try to butter me up. Aren't you contradicting yourself about whatever I did that was so wrong that I didn't deserve to be here running my server by not giving me the space that you asked for? Stick to your stance and give me that space. With respect, give me the same courtesy I gave you. And I'm not even applying this exclusively to the backlash I faced in 2020. You all know who you are. You know where you stand with me. If you know that you never saw me in the best of light and made that apparent in our interactions, do not entertain me, because I'm not going to entertain you back. If you were only ever fond of those who weren't fond of me, then don't try to be fond with me now. I'm not interested. If it were the other way around, you would want me to respect your wishes, so respect mine. And the same goes to my players or anyone who wishes to support me. Respect them as well. Don't question them or interrogate them for not being a hater desperate for attention. It's all manipulation at the end of the day, and I'm just not going to put up with it any longer. And that was one of the things that LC and I talked about when I interviewed him and Pop on my channel. That being a server owner puts a target on your back, accompanied by lots and lots of blame and attacks. Speaking of whom, I'm going to quote LC, Minecraft's Superman himself. Remember, this is Minecraft. It is supposed to be enjoyable, and if it's not for you anymore, let it go. Let's all try to treat others how we would like to be treated. Let's all strive for a positive form in a positive community. And another thing we talked about is that since it is Minecraft, a lot of the players that this message of his pertained to were younger and still growing. But at this point, 5 years is plenty of time to grow up. So if you don't want any part in this community, whether it be because you don't like the product or because I'm involved in it, then just leave it alone. Take LC's advice. Now that that's out of the way, hopefully I won't have to include something like that in these kinds of videos again. Usually when I'm forced to explore these kinds of themes, that is when the screenshots come out and the names get dropped, but I really have to hold myself back here because it's 2025 and being the bigger person is top priority during these exciting times that do not have to get ruined for those who actually want to enjoy it. Besides, at the end of the day, the only person being held to a standard is me for being the owner. If I do expose the malicious intent that still presides in the Minecraft community to the fullest extent, they're not going to face backlash. The suspects, no one's going to bash them, attack them, exile them. Because that side of the community is only interested in seeing me being quote-unquote held accountable and taking a fall as a result. But for those of you who truly have grown up and changed priorities in the time since, to the point where the behavior I just described sounds exhausting, who are just grateful that the riot hasn't been shut down, and are just here to continue to enjoy it with me, you have no idea how grateful I am for that, and how far my appreciation goes for you, truly. Last thing I might as well point out is that there will be a staff application in the description as well. Every position we have is listed but I'm mainly only going to be looking at certain roles unless I see something that sticks out to me, someone who would be really exceptional for that role. And thank you all for your support. As I mentioned at the very beginning, we're back like you've never seen before. I'm very happy to see all the positive feedback on the new stuff that we've been putting out. I like surprising you guys. So obviously no one knew how this was all start coming to be. And all I can say now is you're going to keep being surprised. Even better, I get so excited for what's to come that I keep adding on to it, coming up with more creative ideas. And not everything is going to go according to plan. Sometimes these surprises, as you've all experienced, get delayed. But one thing for certain now, it's that I don't intend to leave Marvel MC on the back burner. It's going to get here eventually, and I have an exciting journey planned along the way. So once again, thank you. Keep your eyes peeled for more. And the best way to do that is by subscribing to this channel, my channel as well, and turning on notifications for both. And with that, I will see you guys hopefully in the comment section of the next surprise. Go ahead and show Marvel MC some love in the comment section for this video so that when we all regroup, I can go, oh hey, I recognize them from the last video. Until next time, goodbye.